Starting to the top right, we have the player down in the series. Starting for LGIM, it is
LGIM YongHwa.
He's up against the Casper player, looking good today. At the bottom left of the map of Daybreak, we have with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3.
SK Telecom T1, Rain.
This is very tense for YongHwa right now. His ideas and his strategies in game number 1 did not pay off. And now he's got to be feeling the pressure because this is a much more aggressive map. It's not really expansion-oriented like the last one was. Playing Stalker play, I talked about how that could be a possibility. This is a bit tougher of a map to make that work on because you don't really have a side angle to blink in on.
The thing is just like you need, if you really want to make those Phoenixes work, you need a lot more than YongHwa had in the situation. There is just so much that worked in favor of Rain. The timing was good. You also had the Guardian Shield up. That's a lot of things that just worked against YongHwa. If he can hide the Phoenixes a little bit longer and go for more, then he might be a bit more successful with this. But I feel that Void Rays in this situation would have just been better.
Yeah, completely agree.
Especially since you can directly counter the Stalkers afterwards.
Yeah, and he saw with his Observer it's a pure Colossus transition. And Phoenixes, yeah, they can kill Colossus, but it takes them a long time because they don't do a ton of damage. The Colossi have a base armor, and the Phoenixes have an attack that attacks twice, so the armor is applied twice. It takes a very long time to kill those.
Yeah. In case you don't know exactly how the armor system works, because we just touched on this and we have now the early game stage, if you have a unit, let's say a missile turret that shoots 2 rockets, or a Thor that even shoots 4, if you have an extra armor upgrade, it will mean that 1 damage from each of these attacks is being reduced. So in case of a Thor against Anti-Air, 4 damage would be reduced with each attack. So armor upgrades against units or structures that do more than 1 attack with a shot, that's what you want to go for.
Yeah. Like Zealots, for example.
I think I've explained this as awkward as you could possibly do it.
No, I think you did it well. I completely feel you covered it like if you were teaching a school on Starcraft.
That would actually be nice. Starcraft school. We should have something like that.
Yeah.
That should be a class on elementary school, I feel. I think it is in Korea, probably.
Probably, man. It's probably an elective.
Yeah, considering how good those guys are.
Well, here's the Twilight Council coming down for YongHwa versus Stargate. So if he goes DTs and Rain goes Phoenixes, it could be a build-order win for YongHwa, but it all depends on how Rain opens up here, because he could be going Oracles, in which case he'll have detection. This is an anything goes situation. He could just go for a direct blink build, but looks like with that probe count, yeah, the probe placement there is going into the Dark Shrine.
Yeah. Has the probe in position, and there comes the Dark Shrine. So far, no detection whatsoever for Rain. That could really take him out.
I think he's gonna go Oracles, though. We'll find out in just a second.
Well, Stargate is done. Oracles.
But, you know, it depends on how he uses this, because if he goes into Void Rays or Phoenixes after the first Oracle, or just doesn't use a Stargate anymore and tries to take a Nexus, and the Oracle moves across the other map, first of all, it's out of position. If he wastes the energy on it doing an attack, then it's going to be out of energy that way as well. But Probe gets taken out here. That means the warp-in point for the DTs is not very close. It's closer, but not as close as you would like it.
And the thing is, the Stalkers might actually scout the pylon, and if that happens, then those DTs will have to cross the entire map. And that's what's going to happen here. The Stalkers see the pylon, and this is really, really bad for YongHwa right now.
Yeah, this is terrible for him. He will be able to warp them in. Maybe it's going to be close, but even if he does, they're already spotted, and in which case he can just start another Oracle, which he does already anyways. This is terrible for YongHwa. He's got the worst end of this. He makes 1 DT in his main at the closest pylon he can.
Here we go. Oracle moves in. The Stalkers are in position, though.
Yeah, he can ignore them and just target down a few probes and walk away.
That's exactly what he does. Thing is, he did still not see the Dark Shrine. He didn't see the Twilight Council either.
Yeah, he has a second Oracle that he looks like he's just going to be using to be safe based on that rally path. He needs to, though, if he wants to survive against DT. As you said, is already on the map, walking up the ramp.
Ah, now he knows that DTs are there. He could have tried to hide this a little bit longer.
Yeah,
now the sentry is there. Why, YongHwa, why?
Why did he attack with a DT at the Stalkers like that? That was a terrible idea, and immediately he reacts.
He could have waited a bit longer. Just take a few shots on the Nexus that you're building with those Stalkers, and then you are fine. If the DT sneaks into the main base of Rain, Rain will lose so many Harvesters, but now he knows what's up. He's paying attention. He's dropping the force fields. He has the vision.
Yep, he uses that detection ability, and that's all it takes. He's got the good force field. His Nexus is also now up. He has the much better tech. He did not waste any gas.
With the Envision, he does a great job, and the second Oracle to the top right is taking out additional Harvesters. So that's very well played here by Rain and YongHwa. He wouldn't have killed Rain with the DT because there was already a second Oracle, but still he could have done some damage and pressure his opponent.
Yeah, he would have definitely killed some probes if it wasn't scouted until that last second. The Warp and Pylon here for YongHwa, who's going into Blink. Looks like he's just going to try to follow this up with an aggressive attack, but with all these units he already has, plus he has the Nexus Cannon he can use, I don't think this is going to work. He's even got an Immortal about to come out.
Easy takes out the second Oracle.
Yeah, no revelation there.
First Immortal on the way now, and we have, of course, the Nexus Cannon, as you said. Harvester count is still in favor of Rain.
There's a DT with this, don't forget, that's running into the natural right now, and he lost his Oracle.
Yeah, he lost Oracle, so he has no detection.
There comes the Observer, though.
Yeah, the Observer is there in time, Photonova charge in position, and YongHwa has to retreat.
Tech-wise, he just gets further and further behind because, yes, he has Blink, but it's just not useful against this composition that Rain has anymore. He's getting a second Immortal. It's about to come out. Oh, he gets the Observer. That's huge.
Yeah, he gets at least the Observer, but there's another one already on the way, I feel. Here comes the DT. He needs another Observer.
Yeah, he wants to wait for the Immortal. It looks like he's just going to let it finish. Yeah. And it'll start the Observer now. He could just force seal the DT out.
Not a lot of damage done so far. And he's moving in, and once again, YongHwa blinking away.
DT a little bit awkward here, not even 100% sure what he wants to do with that. He runs back and forth, now goes into the main base. A Warpin will block him, and now the Observer's out.
The DT knows that he lives on borrowed time here.
Yeah. There it goes, takes him out.
And YongHwa has to retreat with his tail between the legs. He can't really do a lot here. We have too many Immortals out for his opponent. Harvester count is looking good at 10 supply Harvester lead, if I'm not mistaken here.
Check that for you.
We just had that on screen.
45 to 38.
Yeah, nearly 10. Tech also really good for Rain, even though YongHwa is the one to head into the bay first.
You know, he's trying to make something work with these Stalkers. As long as he doesn't waste any of them, it's okay to keep poking in like that. If he doesn't actually lose a Stalker and he loses shields only and maybe kills a unit, that's great.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he has the Blink Stalkers there, so why not use them? He's not like he can do anything, but if, for example, Rain makes a mistake with his positioning, YongHwa might be able to go in, pick off a unit, and then blink to safety. He should be as active with those guys as possible on the map. It gives him the map control, at least for now, but he has to do something, and coming back from this position is not going to be easy.
And he can't do anything with this right now. He gets chased away immediately, has to blink. But he is going to have those Colossi out first, as you mentioned. YongHwa, that is. He also has his Forge going up just slightly ahead. And he's not as behind as it seemed before because Rain did not punish him directly.
Yeah. Rain has still a Harvester lead though, and this is going to work in his favor in the long run. Something that he can definitely use. He's also the first one to use his Forge here with a +1 attack upgrade, but YongHwa should use his own Forge pretty soon.
Rain is not making any more probes, which is interesting. YongHwa continues that probe production, and YongHwa's actually pulled ahead in probes at 53 to 49 right now.
That's a +1 attack upgrade now starting for YongHwa.
No range just yet. There it is for Rain. So these players are actually kind of evening out a little bit.
Yeah. It's actually a little bit surprising to me that YongHwa was able to pull that off, especially since he sacrificed a lot of resources towards his DT tech, and the DTs didn't do too much damage, even though this one now at least gets a few kills.
Yeah. Good defense though. And double robotics for both players, a little bit faster for Rain. So we're kind of going into a game where both players are on even footing. Rain has some advantages, but YongHwa has actually, as the game kind of evens out here, a little bit more advantages because he still has those DTs. He has that potential. He already has the Twilight Council, so he can go into +2 a little bit more comfortably. He already has Blink, so he can use that to go for counterattacks.
Yeah. It works now kind of in his favor. At the beginning, it really looked like Rain would be the one who can just run with this a bit faster, but right now, there's just not a lot that Rain can do. He can't move out unless he has his own blink, because the Stalkers of YongHwa are a bit too mobile on the map and would punish him.
And for example, this base over here may be cancelled by these Stalkers. It's so low on hit points, it's just so new, I think he has to cancel it. Whereas YongHwa's base is completely uncontested. He barely gets there in time. Wants to catch him here. He could actually try it.
He's trying to pull it off. He's moving out now with this force, trying to get into position, but the rest of the army is already following.
Oh, he's going to actually catch him here. He's not going to have anywhere to run.
If he blinks now too soon, and he would be in cooldown, only taking a few hits, and he's getting away.
That was so close. That was insanely close. If YongHwa had lost that group of Stalkers, that might have been game-ending for him. Great plan there by Rain, but YongHwa too quick.
Double Colossi now for both of them, going into charge. For YongHwa, that is. We have the third base coming up for both players.
Faster +2 for YongHwa as well. He's really committing to that tech. Rain, on the other hand, just continues only Colossus production. His third base a little bit later, but now finished, and he's transferring probes. So they're mining about the same time as each other from that third.
YongHwa is getting this +2 attack upgrade a lot faster than Rain does, so that will give him a bit of an edge later on in the fight. And if you're heading into a battle with Colossi, having an upgrade advantage over your opponent is huge. It is all that counts. The number of Colossi that you have, and then of course this next important step, if you have an upgrade lead or not.
Yeah. A late Dark Shrine goes down. Wait, what? For YongHwa?
That is kind of weird since he already has one.
This is so funny. It's because normally in the late game, Dark Shrine like this can be good because you can harass with it. But he's on autopilot, you know, like we've seen in the past. Some players add a late start.
Can you really be this much in autopilot? He used several DTs in this game. It's not like he didn't use it yet, and that's usually when we see something like this occur.
Sometimes, you know, you see Zerg player, Protoss player go to Stargate and then add a Stargate later to add a Fleet Beacon in Protoss versus Zerg. I guess it's similar.
But I feel that's a different situation because you usually only use the Stargate in the beginning, and then there's a long period in the game where you don't really use it. That was in Wings of Liberty, of course. But he just sent a few DTs over to the natural.
Yeah, I think this is very strange. I thought it was actually on Reigns when I saw the production tab for a second. But
yeah, me too.
Because that would have made a lot of sense. There's a ton of gateways going down for Rain, and he's going to probably try to hit a timing attack here with +2. And he will have the better army for a brief moment when he does that. And right now, YongHwa's taking a very vulnerable fourth. Legend very obsessed with the fact that the Dark Shrine was not cancelled. So he does have a backup Dark Shrine now.
As soon as YongHwa realizes that we will probably hear a pop, since he's going to facepalm so hard, we're going to hear it up here on the balcony.
Yeah. Well, you know, when one Dark Shrine is not enough, make two. There's a Warp Prism going to the main, and he will be able to use that Dark Shrine with this.
+3 attack has been started for YongHwa. That's where he has his lead. DT's now in the main base. He's taking down a lot of these harvesters, actually. Oh my god!
It's really important, though, that he saves the cannons. He's not going to save it for much longer, though.
He can warp in additional units. That's exactly what we're going to see here.
And YongHwa is able to kill a lot of probes at the third base, too, with that little Stalker blink by.
Uh-oh. Oh my god, no! He cannot lose those! There's no Mothership Core!
Oh, tragic. He gets the time warp down.
What
Second
was that?
time warp. This is game ending for YongHwa. He loses too much here.
He's losing everything. Every single Colossus is down. A great move by YongHwa moving into the main base with the Warp Prism and the DTs. But this, what was that?
I don't know why his army was there, but he's killing a lot at the third base still. Rain is very low on economy right now. YongHwa can try to buy time here and make some more warp ends.
Yeah, YongHwa can buy time and get a few over the warbins, but he's going to lose everything here. The entire army of Rain is together. This is the Protoss Deathfall, and those Colossi are going to take everything apart.
Exactly.
The Colossus count is 7-0.
It'd be great if YongHwa could spend his resources to warp in 3 Colossi right now, but he has to wait for them to build on the Robo, and they're coming out at the worst possible moment here as he comes in. He warps in a ton of DTs. I don't see that really working out.
This game is over. We have the entire army of the SKT1 Protoss now in YongHwa's main base, and YongHwa has no chance of defending.
And he has to walk into a choke point to fight with his Zealots. He's only fighting with like no range units.
He's losing his entire attack. He's losing everything here.
Force fields lock those units out. He's going to lose every single one of them. 3 observers fly over the sky.
I think the idea for YongHwa was to split his army and move to the top left and do some damage there, but parking the Colossi this close to his opponent's main army, that was Christmas come early for Rain. 2-0. easy peasy.
It was starting to really look like YongHwa was going to be able to take that second game with all the harassment he was able to do with the Warp Prism and also the Blink Stalkers at the third, but he just lost his entire army. He gifted it.
He did so much better, and the second Dark Shrine was a little bit awkward, but still, those DTs in the main base with the Warp Prism did so much damage. They took the economy in the main apart, but then those Colossi, they were completely helpless at the bottom left, accompanied by a few Immortals, but that was it.
Yeah, that was a rough way to go down for YongHwa, but we will see him in the up and downs.
It's written all over his face. He is completely like, he looks at it like, oh my god, did that really happen? And then most important of all, how did it happen? I mean, that was game ending. He lost everything there. Yeah. All those Colossi,
he couldn't fight.
Part.
He tried to run, and I think he could have even tried to fight instead to get more out of the Colossi, but what do you do in a situation like that? You kind of, no answer is the right answer. Yeah. That was a rough loss there, kind of anticlimactic.
If you have the resources, you need so much time to get the Colossus count up again, so there was no way for him to recover from this loss. All the Colossi were gone, 7 Colossi to 0 for Rain, and Rain was just like, well, I guess I win.
Yeah.
A-click into his opponent's base, and that's it, GG.
Well, before we go into our last match of the night, which will be Yu-Gi-Oh! Against Paralyzed, we are going to have a 5-minute break, so stay tuned.